So this is a very quick video that's going to talk about the two most common serrated polyps, hyperplastic polyp and sessile serrated adenoma, and I'm going to give you features that I use to distinguish between the two. It is one of the most common diagnostic problems in GI pathology. Serrated refers to a knife with a serrated edge. This here is the classic serrated pattern. I'm not sure how many of you guys remember this movie. This is what you would see under the microscope. This is serrated pattern. And what I'm going to do for you is draw the outlines of the gland, and now you'll see these knife-like ridges more obviously. So there you go. There it is. That's the pattern. Those are the knife-like ridges. Of course, it really depends on what plane you cut these things. If you cut them across, you typically see the star-shaped profile. So here's the star-shaped profile. That's what you're looking at. Here you go. That's the star-shaped profile. There's the star. And that becomes a lot more obvious when I draw out these outlines. So this is a hyperplastic polyp. As you can see, there's serrations on the top. Very nice sawtooth or serrated-like pattern. But in terms of distinguishing between a hyperplastic polyp and a sessile serrated lesion, you need to turn your attention not to the top, but to the base. So look at these crypts at the base. They are narrow, so they narrow down as you go from the top to the bottom. They're definitely not dilated. The serrations are stuck on the top half, do not extend to the bottom half. And thirdly, the crypts move vertically down and do not show a horizontal pattern of growth. So here again is the same hyperplastic polyp. Notice all of these exaggerated serrations. Notice also that while they are goblet cells, there are other cells that have a more microvesicular pattern. This is one of the most common patterns you will see in a hyperplastic polyp. It is not a subtype, but it is a pattern that you see in a hyperplastic polyp. And this is the microvesicular type of hyperplastic polyp. You do not have to use that term in routine practice. He has a beautiful star-shaped profile, confirming that it's a serrated polyp. And the final word I'll add is that most hyperplastic polyps, particularly on the left side, will show this thickened basement membrane. And that is helpful if you're dealing with a very cauterized polyp. Do not mistake this for collagenous colitis or something like that. And finally, when you move to the top of most hyperplastic polyps, you will see this very hypermucinous microvesicular pattern with little tufts of cells. That is also very typical of a hyperplastic polyp. Okay, so let's get into the heart of the matter. How do you tell the difference between sessile serrated adenomas, we call them polyps now, and hyperplastic polyps? SSPs tend to be larger, tend to be flatter, as in this example. They tend to be on the right side, but you can see them on the left side. Hyperplastic polyps tend to be smaller. Remember, this is all tend to be, and it's not a definitive criterion. Histology is the gold standard. They tend to be smaller, they tend to be on the left side. This is a classic sessile serrated polyp. As I said, they tend to be larger, they tend to be right-sided. So this low power appearance is helpful. Notice the marked dilatation of the crypts. You could also see some serrations right here. Let's take another look. This is the classic appearance of a sessile serrated lesion. So let's just go over the features very quickly. Let me get this out of the way. On the surface, there is serrations. There's that hypermucinous epithelium. Does that help me make the distinction between the two? Absolutely not. I'm looking at the mid part. I'm looking at the base of the lesion. The answer is in the base. Serrations that go all the way to the bottom is a feature of SSLs. crypts that start running horizontally, either on both sides where it creates a T-shaped form, or only in one side. This is the so-called boot. In fact, this does look like a boot, doesn't it? And finally, dilatation at the base. So the glands are more dilated at the base than they are at the surface. So those are the three features: deep serrations that go to the base, boot-shaped crypts, and crypts that are dilated at the base. So they're not only dilated at the base, but also notice the lining epithelium. It's very foveolar. By that I mean it has this fine, pale, vacuolated mucosa. If you look at the base of a hyperplastic polyp, the crypts are not only narrow, but they are composed of goblet cells and endocrine cells and perhaps Paneth cells, depending on where you are in the colon, but you do not see this foveolar mucosa. This also results in abundant mucin. So those big dilated glands in SSPs are filled with abundant mucin that extends to the surface and therefore makes these polyps hard to visualize for the endoscopist unless they use water or irrigate that area to wash that mucin off. Right, so we're going down from the base. Remember, the surface is unhelpful in this distinction. The base is helpful, but so is the mid-crypt area, although I don't necessarily rely on it because it's not a consistent feature of SSPs. Notice I'm comparing the epithelial cells in the mid-crypt region of a SSP with a hyperplastic polyp. Notice how much more juiced up these are. These cells look, in quotes, proliferative, and this is often referred to as the proliferative zone. So those juiced up cells in the mid-crypt area, as opposed to the most banal looking, smaller, slightly more hyperchromatic cells in hyperplastic polyps. So this is what goes on in the mid-crypt region. So there it is again. This is a perfect SSL, dilated crypts, boot-shaped forms, and serrations that go all the way to the base. There it is. There's your mantra: basal dilatation, basal serrations, and basal boots. Now, to see all of that, you need to have a decently oriented section from that polyp. Not infrequently, we'll cut them parallel to the surface, and so all you see is serrations, but you have no idea whether these serrations are on the surface or are they at the very base. There's probably one crypt here that suggests it's so dilated it's filled with mucin. This crypt does suggest that you're probably dealing with a sessile serrated lesion, but there's absolutely no way you can be absolutely sure. So what do? And you've got to be very lucky to get this. Turn the block 90 degrees. And if you're lucky, and if it's your lucky week and your lucky day, you'll see the base of the polyp, and there you have it, the dilatation and the L-shaped or boot-shaped form. Remember, you could have cut it, could have embedded it the other way, seen only the top of the polyp. The top of the polyp does not help you distinguish between a hyperplastic polyp and a sessile serrated lesion. So here's a quick comparison between these two polyps. Location helps, size helps, but ultimately it is your judgment under the microscope